Well, I thought the election today down in Georgia was going to be very interesting, but something else that's gotten my attention even more so. It looks like for the time being, Julian Assange, the guy from WikiLeaks, will not be extradited to the U.S. Thank you, UK Judge Vanessa Barrister. I believe that's how she pronounced her name. UK Judge Vanessa Barrister blocked U.S. extradition on the basis of that Americans' um, prison conditions. That's basically what it came down to, the prison conditions. And while he's far from being free, he is safe from what we call American justice. The campaign against truth tellers, whistleblowers. I saw a very interesting program last night on Heartlands Media, hosted by Kit Cabello, Daniel Luker, in regard to the justice that Julian Assange could be the recipient of if he is extradited to the United States. Remember, remember the suicide of Jeffrey Epstein? I mean, I wouldn't put it past our government. And I am saying this, worry about getting shadow banned for bringing up Julian Assange. I hope that's not the case. Well, the, this begs to the question, why is the U.S. interested in getting Julian Assange in the first place? Well, in 2010, Julian Assange placed information on WikiLeaks, which listed the specific war crimes during the George W. Bush presidency. And this was a dicey time because remember the Iraq War, which was still pretty much going. It's still going on today, technically. Um, the war crimes that were taking place, that was taking place, that did not set well with a lot of the neocons and the military-industrial complex. So Julian Assange was enemy number one. The Obama administration wanted him captured. They got their wish eventually. Many on the left at that time, and that was me then, that's me now, thought that Julian Assange was awesome for what he did. And many neocons and many Republican partisan hacks, and even quite a number of establishment Democrats looked upon Julian Assange with absolute disdain. Um, so you had a weird kind of a you have a weird situation. Both um, establishment Democrats and some progressives started to dislike Assange several years later, because the 2016 election and situation that seemed favorable to Donald Trump. And for the record, Julian Assange is not a fan of Donald Trump, contrary to what some people who are partisan Democrats claim that he is. But on partisan lines, the opinions switch because way back in 2010, during the first term, and probably much through the second term of Obama. Well, what happened? Let's see. The left pretty much were fans of Assange, but by the time when Assange plays information regarding foul play by Hillary Clinton, the DNC, and what was going on with the 2016 election and everything, all that was kind of not favorable in the sense that Assange favored Trump, but Trump's it was to Trump's advantage. And for the time being, Donald Trump and many Republicans started to like Julian Assange. So and that's where everything just got kind of topsy turvy. still a lot of neocons and many establishment Democrats were hostile toward Assange. Um, During that time, all the way to the present today, one could argue that the anti-establishment left and the anti-establishment right, who may in some ways do not see eye to eye with each other, will look at Assange in a sympathetic way. This is why someone on the left, like Glenn Greenwald, who was formerly with the Intercept, would support Assange, and someone like Alex Jones on the anti-establishment right, affiliated with, of course, the Infowars, which was taken down from YouTube, um, will also be sympathetic toward toward Julian Assange. And then, of course, as I said about the neocon and establishment Republicans and the neo-lib establishment corporate Democrats being hostile toward Assange these days. Um, they basically, did the ties with Russia, and with that regard, you know, we are seeing now neo McCarthyism. McCarthyism is back in full swing, and this is, there's two countries in the world where everybody wants to run for cover, and they're not really that much of a threat. With the Democrats, most Democrats, some Republicans, most Democrats, they look at Russia. They're like, oh, Russia, get under the bed. It's the Russians. It's Putin. And with the Republicans and neoconservatives, and even maybe some corporate Democrats, establishment neo-lib Democrats, they look at what's the name of that place? Iran, and they're like, "Oh no, the Iranians!" And they're crawling under their bed, quivering in fear. And I'm going to tell you both sides one thing: I wouldn't want to live in Russia. I wouldn't want to live in Iran. They both have governments I do not like, but they're not neither country are a threat to the United States. Relax, relax. But people like Mike Pompeo wants to get at him, and I'm going to look forward to seeing Mike Pompeo gone, even though the military-industrial complex is going to still be around, and the Biden administration is going to continue doing the bidding of the military-industrial complex. It's just in the nature of the beast. Um, but by April 11, 2019, the British authorities went into the Ecuadorian embassy where Julian Assange resided for years. Julian Assange was going nuts in the embassy, and they apprehended him. And he's under the custody of the British today. So, this begs to the question: why should any of us here in America, in particular, be concerned about the well-being of Julian Assange? Well, it's a human rights issue. When you're a political prisoner in the United States, and I'm not just saying this to bash the United States, I would say here, a political prisoner anywhere for any country, they're going to make life a living hell for you. And Julian Assange didn't do anything that is worthy of him being persecuted, tortured, or in some instances could potentially be executed. So I think that it's wrong for the United States to go after Julian Assange. Is an act of immorality as far as I'm concerned. And as a free speech and free press absolutist, I think that if you give a damn about things like the freedom of speech and freedom of the press, you would look at Julian Assange and be in solidarity with him. So I mean, that's what's going on there. And last year when the Democrats were running for their candidates for president, only one that I can recall, one candidate maybe another candidate, possibly, but one candidate I can definitely recall that was in favor of having Assange pardoned, and that was now former Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard of Hawaii. And even though I'm not particularly keen with her anti-trans uh, bill that she co-sponsored with a Republican member of Congress whose name escaped me at the moment, she still ain't wrong about Julian Assange and Ed Snowden and wanting them pardoned. In the description box below, I left you a phone number to call the White House so you can ask President Donald Trump now, or in a few weeks, President Joe Biden to pardon Julian Assange. I say, hey, it's worth a shot. Go ahead and do that. As I said, and urge the president, either President Donald Trump now or President Joe Biden in a few weeks, or contact them both. See what go and contact both of them and ask President Trump now and ask President Biden in a few weeks to pardon Julian Assange, and while they're at it, pardon Ed Snowden too. And that's pretty much what I got to say about that right now in the name of human rights. If you like what you heard, press like and comment. If you were just like completely just grossed out by what I have to say, comment anyway. We'll have a conversation. Feel free to share the content on this channel. As the First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you that if you have a platform and you're passionate about something, utilize it. If you're passionate about something, you don't have a platform, develop that platform. Utilize it, because we're the muckrakers of our time. And hit that subscribe button. Please do that. And until next time, I am American Social Democracy. Peace, and Bernie Sanders for president in the year 2024.